Hey everyone, welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Lisa Drennon, your hostess with the mostest. I had to say that. I'm your wealth activator, and today we are talking about a how to audit yourself in your business to be sure you are on target to hit that profit margin goal. So many times we come up with these arbitrary numbers and then we wonder why we never hit them. I want you to create a number that is congruent with your goals, a number that's going to give you that financial security, that freedom that you're looking for. So we're halfway through the year. Can you believe it? And today we're going to pause. We're going to breathe. We're going to look not to judge, not to panic, but to see clearly exactly what our money is doing. And you don't need a degree in finance. You don't need a business manager. You need space, honesty, and a little courage to look at those numbers. And if somebody is doing this for you, if you have a bookkeeper or an accountant or whatever, you need to look into this. You need to be aware. You need to have your fingerprint on this part of your business because it's your money we're talking about. And I Date Money is all about having that relationship with money so it flows, the cash flows, and you're getting to live the life that you desire. This is where true wealth comes in. So here's why this matters, right? You've gathered enough data from the year so far. You know whether or not you're on course to create a net profit margin that you wanted to hit that you probably declared in January, right? And you could be to the point where you're like, it's been highs and lows. I'm not really sure. And then you're going after shiny objects. You're trying to create multiple income streams and you start to get burnt out. And you start to think, maybe I should go back to my 9 to 5. And this isn't just New Year's pressure, right? It's reflective energy. Looking at the money map, your spreadsheet, and saying, you know what? This is a mirror of how I want my money to flow. This is a mirror of how I'm growing my business and how I am the CEO of my business so that I can provide for my family. I can, become a multimillionaire. I can, whatever it is you want to do. So I'm going to go over a 3-part audit framework with you today. Now, I do this for my clients. It's called a Profit Gold Audit. I'm going to link in the show notes a link to a masterclass, Money Map Masterclass, which goes over this in detail. And I really encourage you to do this a minimum of twice a year. I do it for my clients once a quarter. I do it for myself once a quarter. You really want to know, am I on trajectory? What's my number? And how am I going to hit it? The size of the number doesn't matter. It's the idea that I want to do this. So they say that whatever we want happens because we go after it. And, how bad do you want it? So the first key area that we're going to focus on is your income. How much have you made year to date? What offers, what offer do you have brings in the most money and what offer brings in the least? And which clients or projects felt the most aligned that brought you the most joy? It's not sucking the life out of you. Really important to start there because if you're not loving what you're doing, stop doing it. Please just stop doing it. The next thing we're going to look at is your expenses. Where did your money go? So many times I hear, oh, my P&L doesn't match my bank account. I'm not sure what happened to the money. Well, I can tell you, you probably didn't deposit it into your business checking account and then allocate it into your money buckets. You probably just went out to lunch or spent it or, left it as petty cash. So where does your money go? Did you track it? Did you update your spending, your money map? Are you paying for things that have no value, that serve you no longer? Duplicate things. Did you invest in something that paid off energetically, even if not financially yet? Same thing. Like our body is going to tell us what is in alignment before our thoughts and everything else gets connected. So important just to take a few moments, even if you put your hand on your chest and ask yourself, is this aligned? Is this serving me? Do I need to make a change? Do I need to make a cut? Do I need to add on a service? So really looking at your expenses and deciding, should they stay or should they go? Now, cash flow patterns, these feast and famine cycles that a lot of entrepreneurs have. We have our busy season and then hit the dry season. I hear this a lot from people on commissions, especially like myself. Real estate agents seem to really talk about this a lot because you get this big lump of commission coming in and then nothing. But if you get $100,000 commission, most people don't make that in a year. 9 to 5ers don't make that in a year. So how do we allocate our income so that it can sustain us, our budget, our money plan, our lifestyle the way that we want to? And the worst thing I see, and I really want you guys to stop doing this, are you paying yourself first? People do not pay themselves first. Entrepreneurs will take all of their income and put it back into their business. Please, please, please stop doing that. You are never going to get ahead. You're always going to be behind the eight ball. Something my mom always said as an entrepreneur. You need to pay yourself first. And, when you think about it, these cash flow patterns, you're the CEO. If you were doing your business for somebody else, wouldn't you expect to get a paycheck? Yes, you would. So think of it that way. And I want you to look and think about your cash flow. What feels chaotic versus steady? You might have multiple income streams coming in like myself, but the products that you offer, the services that you offer, are they really bringing you joy? Are they in alignment, or do you dread, getting on the calls or whatever it is that you're doing to make this money happen? I recently revamped my Crush on Debt program. I had a live coaching program for 12 months. I would go in weekly. We would do aromatherapy sessions with breath, that's the breath work with towards debt, just focusing on the debt. And it was draining. Like, sometimes the clients wouldn't come to the calls, and then we would have our one to one call. They wouldn't do the action steps. And it was like, okay, what needs to be changed? What can I do differently? So I turned it into a course for $397, and it's self-paced. And for the first 6 weeks, you get Telegram access to me. Can we say hello? That's the best way to be in alignment, especially to pay off our debt. And so when you think about what feels chaotic, what feels steady in your business, and we're not labeling anything good or bad, okay? We're just looking for the truth. And truth has come up a lot for me today. When you think about the truth will set you free, okay? All these little idioms I'm coming up with today. But when you think about it, when you can release what someone told you about how to run your business, how to increase your cash flow, that's not in alignment, you're going to see the truth and you're going to see, well, you know what? That might work for you, but it's not going to work for me. So really paying attention, and not just, especially if you're working with a bookkeeper or an accountant, really paying attention to these numbers. So the last part of the audit is doing the energetic and emotional audit. So here's the layer that most people skip. So please, please do not skip this. What has felt heavy in your business this year? Grab your journals, write this out, and really contemplate this. What has felt heavy in your business this year? Where are you leaking energy or undercharging? I see so many people, and there's nothing wrong with angel numbers, but I see so many people pricing their packages for such a low number because one, they want the angel number to fit, but two, they don't believe in the value of their offer. If you don't believe in the value of your offer, you're never going to be able to sell it because you have to believe in it. You have to implement it in your life in order for it to be a valid offer. And this is something that most entrepreneurs will miss. They'll price an offer, and I did this. I'm so guilty of doing this. Would price an offer based on what the coach says, based on what the standard industry is. And I love, like, the new coach that I'm working with, she bases her prices based on how she wants to deliver her program. And it's so in alignment. And she offers way more value than what we pay. But there's also the value, when we look at the ROI, it's not just about the income that we're receiving, it's about the energetics. It's about how we're receiving it. How is it changing our lives? How is it making us a better person? How is it helping us get to that next level? So when you're thinking about your offer, you want to look and say, is this priced according to the value in which I'm delivering it? And looking at if you're someone who has multiple offers, what offer made you feel most powerful? And then which offer made you feel most drained? The Crush on Debt coaching program made me feel drained because, we would meet weekly. We'd go through the aromatherapy session, and then I would hear the same things over and over again about, debt this, I had to use my credit card. And we tell ourselves these stories, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know there's a transition period to break these cycles, to break these habits. And that's why being in the program was so important, and doing the energetic work behind it and aligning with the nervous system, because if we don't break these patterns, we're just going to keep repeating them. And this is exactly what happened. And even though I went from 22 to age 40 debt free, I had no debt. After I filed my bankruptcy, it was like, I'll never be in debt again. Well, okay, broke that promise. But at 40, when I started using those credit cards and racking up the $100,000 worth of debt over that period of time, it was like It was heavy. It's like you have a boulder on your shoulders and you can't breathe and you're suffocating and you're in this dark pit and you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. And when we think about it, we go after, to try to relieve that sense of guilt and shame and regret that we're feeling. We go out and we invest in shiny objects and we try to get more income streams coming in so that we can pay off that debt. And we keep saying, I'm going to pay off that debt, pay it off, but then we don't. Or if we do, then we rock it back up again. We'll finagle the finances and shift, from one debt to another debt. And then we'll come up with a reason why we have to use it. When we think about this in creating our offers, if that sucks the energy out of you, but you know it's a valuable program, you know what you do is very valuable, but it's sucking the life out of you. How can you create it so that it brings you joy and still fulfills the purpose? Turn it into an online course. That's exactly what I did with the Crush on Debt program. And, when you turn it into that online course, it's like, this was so much fun. And then you shorten the time period. You like, programs don't have to be for 12 months. There's all kinds of time frames. There's 6 weeks, there's 4 days, there's 10 sessions, there's 20 sessions. You have to do you. It has to be aligned with you, and that's what's going to make your offer the most powerful. So ask your body, ask your heart, ask your intuition, and then write it down because numbers don't make the decisions, you do. So now that you see clearly how to do your audit, what do you want to shift? I want you to choose one of these: one expense to release, one offer to refine, one income target for the next quarter that feels expansive, not stressful. This is a realignment. Okay, we're going to realign your business. Make your next money decision from clarity, not panic. And if you want the how to walk through your Profit Gold audit, self-paced, click on the link in the show notes. You'll get the link for the class. There's a workbook. And if you still have questions, you can book your call. Because remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it.